Hello, this is Ricardo Francis, the Venting Vigilante. It's good to be with you again today. Today we're going to talk about conflict. Yes, conflict. Throughout many of our lives on a daily basis, a weekly basis, a monthly basis, a yearly basis, at some point in time in our lives, we have had conflict. Conflict with your friends, with your family, with your neighbor. Nations have conflict with nations. Governments have conflicts with people. Man have conflicts with man. Women have conflict with woman. Human beings have conflict with machines, and so on and so forth. Friends, the word conflict as we know it has been around since, I would say, the late 14th century, the early 15th century. Conflict generally is a state of mind. Some people may consider it a disease. Some people believe that conflict really stems from an individual, a person, where he or she, going back to his or her childhood, may have had a lot of different issues that you may have never addressed, that you have never dealt with, where correction or appropriate remedies were never taken into consideration. You were not given the appropriate talking to, in that there are certain things that are not right, that there's a right way, there's a wrong way. So you grew up having this sense of anger in you, this sense that you're entitled to things that don't belong to you, or you have an opinion that should be your opinion even though your opinion is wrong. On a daily basis, friends, we pick up the newspaper and we read about countries around the world where there are conflicts, whether it be civil war, or nations fighting against nations, whether it be over property, money, political policies, whatever the concerns may be. Within your own family, within your workplace, you can have conflict with your employer. You can have conflict with your co-workers. You can have conflict if you're going to school with the educational institution that you're with, because you don't agree with their policies, you don't agree with their way of doing things. Friends, conflict can be a social disease. It has legal implications, it has political and social implications. Conflict is no good, especially if you cannot identify and recognize that there are conflicts. You cannot identify and recognize the specific issues. Putting the issues on the table before you can find meaningful and sustainable resolutions to the conflict. Friends, I've spoken about many different issues on this channel. But conflict, friends, on a daily basis, there are no justification because of some of the issues that I see or that I read about in the newspaper, that I may read on the internet, in terms of people's conflict. But when you have been socially constructed, you have been socialized a certain way, you have grown up in a particular environment where you have been fed certain kinds of information, or because of your own sense of insecurity. These are things that, from an individual and personal level, that bring about conflict within you, the individual, and as a result that you're internally conflicted. I believe Sigmund Freud was the first one who said that when he talked about id, ego, and superego, that we are internally conflicted. And as a result of being internally conflicted, it affects our environment, it affects the people around us, it affects so many different things in the world. Friends, do not become a victim of conflict. I love you. I love sharing these moments with you. See you next time.